what were your thoughts on planning for your birth then going into it? Were there some things you knew you wanted, knew you didn't want, given, your experience and kind of born into it?
Yeah. So honestly, the whole birth plan piece was, it did not come intuitively for me because I kept coming back to this feeling of like, I've never done this before. Like, how am I supposed to know what I'm going to like and what I'm going to need? And so maybe that was good because it helped us kind of really brainstorm big and, well, let's think of what we could possibly do, so we did opt to have a birth pool or a birth tub in our house. But I wasn't set on a water birth. I was like, if I happen to be in the tub and it's time, cool. If not, that's fine too. Like, I'm kind of like, let's have it here in case I want it, and, but I guess I was really open to trying different things. Like, I remember we tried a TENS unit at one point with the electrostimulation, and I was like, get that off me. I don't like that, so I just, I was open to stuff. I think it naturally kind of happened, that I just gravitated towards Chris. I wanted to be physically touching him the whole time. And I didn't actually use I thought I would use sound a lot and have music on. I don't even remember the sound or the music at all, so I don't know. I tried a bunch of different things, but the planning of it was very much like, let's just put a lot of stuff down and have a lot of options. And then, my team will know what my options are and offer different things. And I think I felt comfortable saying yes or no, in the moment to take, try things. So.
And I remember talking about the team a lot too, like who is going to be there. I think that was something that was more on your mind and on our minds just generally. It was like, it's COVID, there's pandemic considerations, like, what does the team look like? Who's going to be there? That was something that I think was very clear from the beginning. Like, feel like that's kind of where we started in some way. It was like, who's going to be there? Who do we want to be there?
Yeah, that was probably more important than the what will happen. It's who's there. Yeah.
I think that's great. So one thing that I heard is have the options available. That's a big thing that comes up in our community, and I see in our conversations or whether it's social media. Do I have the tub? Do I have the TENS unit? Do I have whatever the things are? And especially if you haven't birthed before, I am all for have it there. Better to have it there and not use it than wonder if it could have been the thing that helped you most. So I love that you mentioned that. And then I also love that the team is so important. The energy, the people who are in the room, the people who are on board really makes a difference in terms of the support that you have. So I love that those are two big elements here as we go along the story.
Oh, yeah. And I will say too, the frame of mind that we had, people said, what do you need about pain? And I would always say, well, my comfort measures will be, so just, I always had that kind of, it wasn't pain management, it was comfort measures. And then for the team, I think, my sister is a doula, actually. She's currently actually in nursing school to become a midwife, but by the time of the birth, she was not she was still in school. But anyway, she had a lot of experience with birth, and so I think that was, having her here was really important to us. My mom being someone who had kids at home was important. And then we actually ended up having 9 people, which is more than I thought we would have, honestly. Yeah. And then and we don't have a big house. So I was kind of like, gosh, this is going to feel like super crowded up in here. But they did a great job at just protecting my space. And the only time I felt like I was being watched was when I was in the birth tub, which might've been why I didn't like being in the birth tub. But other than that, like I didn't know there was all these people here, so that was important, I guess.
Yeah, we had like the best friend photographer, the best friend who's 2 births that Heather had been to. And then, our midwife had her sister.
Yes, her sister, who was a kind of midwife in training, came too, along with a birth assistant who's also a midwife in training. So we had a stacked team. I felt super safe and super supported.
Yeah, everybody was fantastic. I mean, that was I think that was a big part of the preparation too, was just meeting people that we weren't familiar with and getting to know them more and building that trust. Because I think for me, throughout the process, building that trust was so much more important than like this specific thing or this other specific thing. Like, I left that more up to Heather, but for me to feel comfortable and supported, it was really about like having trust. And all the meetings that we had with people went so far into building that trust. So whether it was meeting with the midwife or meeting people who had been with that midwife before and were back again, like, all that was just really helpful for me.
Had everybody who was on your team, had they all attended home births before?
No, actually, my sister and my mom had, but the friend of ours who we asked to be our photographer had not. And she used to be a roommate of ours. And so when we asked her, we took her out to dinner and we're like, we have a question for you. Like, we know she knows us and she knew I was going to have a home birth. We're like, will you be the photographer? And she was like, so like honored. And she was so sincere. She like spent the next like few weeks, like doing all this research about home birth photographers and like what to look, because she's an amateur photographer, but I mean, I think she says it was one of the most, impactful experiences she's ever had being there and just clicking away. So it was really cool to have her in this space and to let her experience that. I know she wants kids in the future, and regardless of what she does, how she wants to give birth, it's like, I was happy to give another person that experience of like being at a home birth, and just seeing the power of that. So
especially somebody so close to us.
Yeah, somebody we love dearly. So it was really cool.
Yeah. I mean, the impact that being at all those births had on you, it's a beautiful gift to be able to give somebody else.
Yeah, I think that is exactly how we were thinking about it. Yeah.
That's cool. Mm-hmm.